All right, good morning everyone. On behalf of Keep the Coast 30, I want to thank you all for being here. We're all proud to be here today. We're joining a 50-year effort to defend the 30-foot height limit that many San Diegans have done for the past 5 decades. That's why we have that beautiful coastline that you see behind us now. Coastlines in this country have been walled off by huge buildings because they don't have the protection that we have here, and because we have the 30-foot height limit. We believe passage of Measure C on the November ballot, the effort to remove the height limit in the Midway District, will eventually lead to such a tragedy if it passes. We cannot let that happen. I'm nobody special. I'm a San Diegan. I've lived here for 45 years, since 1977, and I've lived in La Jolla, PB, and Ocean Beach. I've been here for 42 years, and I've raised 2 kids here, and the reason I'm doing it is for my kids and the other kids that are going to be coming after us. I was a Navy kid, and one of the reasons I'm here is I lived all over the country, and I have seen places where the coastlines have been absolutely ruined. I lived on all up and down the East Coast. If you go to Virginia Beach and a whole bunch of places in Florida, Daytona Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, it's just walled off by buildings, and that's what this height limit law here has been able to keep us from doing. The other reason that I'm speaking is I have a career in construction. I spent 47 years in construction, and I spent a lot of years on the local planning boards. I know the development industry. I know these people. They're not all bad people, but they are all motivated by money, and there's no better money to be made anywhere than right here at the coast, or any coast. So some of the places that I lived in Hawaii in 1960. I went back in 1985, and if you look at Waikiki Beach, it's absolutely horrible compared to what it looked like back then. The other places I mentioned, you go to Maine, a lot of the coast in Maine is private. People can't even get to it. And in the 70s, my family lived in a place right on Pascagoula, Mississippi, and they used to go to a place called Gulf Shores, Alabama, a little island. It was nothing but sand and a place to go enjoy the beach. I published a picture of this on Twitter now, and that little island is lined with tall buildings. Alabama doesn't have any protections. So that's why I'm here. I just wanted to say, because I've got the experience from having seen it, and I know what the development industry is all about. So over the next month, we're trying to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the 30-foot height limit. And we want to make sure everybody understands the proponents of the measure on the ballot say it's just a bunch of rich people who want to keep the poor people out. And that is a load of crap. There's no other way to put it. This very pier we're on, you come out on this pier on any weekend and see the variety of people that are enjoying this pier, the same people that are enjoying this coastline. You go to Mission Beach and you go to Mission Bay. People from all over San Diego, all different walks of life, all colors, all religions, they're enjoying it. So it's not a bunch of rich people trying to prevent those people from enjoying the coast. They already are. But if we let this happen, they won't be able to. So the history was in 1972, a bunch of people got together and gathered 36,000 signatures to get this thing on the ballot. I met one of these people who was on the Peninsula Community Planning Board, Mignon Shear, who passed away a few years ago. And the story of how hard these people worked to do what they did was incredible. Some of them sacrificed personally and professionally in order to do what they did. And they didn't use paid signature gatherers. Back then it was all volunteers. Today they pay legions of people who go out there who have no idea what they're getting the signatures for. All they want to do is get paid for a signature. And of course they didn't do that here. Instead of this, they had a bunch of people sitting in an air-conditioned city council chamber. 9 people voted, and it was on the ballot just like that. And it was nothing compared to the effort that the people did in 1972. At the very least, if people want this removed, they should have to go through the same effort those people did in 1972. So the other thing I want to touch on, in the last century, there's been a lot of challenges to the 30-foot height limit. Originally they fought it in court and they lost there. So they started nibbling at it, and they've tried nibbling at it for years. They've done exemptions, they've done tricks like artificially raising the grade to measure the 30-foot height limit. Just a lot of tricks. The latest trick that they've done is they allow developers now to build planters 5 or 6 feet tall next to their new developments and measure the height from inside. They call that finished grade. These are the kinds of things that they were doing, but they were nibbling. They weren't getting enough. Now they want to take a major chunk out. And so they're saying, well, we just want one bite. We just want Midway. That's all. But the thing is, when you take a ravenous beast like the developers, that's not going to satisfy them. It's just going to whet their appetite. The next thing you're going to hear, well, let's take another little bite and another little bite until pretty soon we're going to see that right here, and that's what we're trying to prevent. One example of that just locally is Collier Park. If you look at the grant that Collier gave to Ocean Beach many years ago, it was a large swath of land that was supposed to be for the public. Now there's a Nimitz Freeway, there's a junior high school, there's a housing development. It's all cut up, but there's a small piece of grass at Green and Soto Street now. That's all that's left of it. So the opponents are painting all the rest of us what they call NIMBYs. And the term is actually quite infuriating. And they're also calling us all racist. And I think that's a really odious accusation. We're not anything of the sort. We're not rich, and we're not that either. We want to preserve what everybody has been enjoying for all these years. And so the only way one of the ways that they're fighting this, or proponents are pushing this, is personal accusations. We're rich. We're old white guys like me. We're racist. We don't want anybody poor living near us, and it's all a lie.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. I'm a mother, a mom, I'm Indigenous, and I'm a military spouse, and it's a privilege to live in this community. As Jeff stated, look behind you. Look at this vast coastline that we enjoy. Look at these beautiful beaches that have been preserved and allow access for everyone, every San Diegan to enjoy. Today we're here to set off a month of calling for a celebration of the 50th anniversary of the historic 30-foot height limit and honoring the work of unpaid volunteers who gathered 36,000 signatures to place a ballot measure before San Diego voters that would limit the coastal height limit. In November of 1972, 63% of San Diego voters passed a citizens initiative which established the 30-foot height limit west of Interstate 5. For the last half century, despite challenges and exemptions, the 30-foot height limit has served all San Diegans well in providing access to the coast and preventing overdevelopment of beaches that everyone uses. Today, however, the greatest threat to the 30-foot height limit in 50 years is on the November ballot this year in the form of Measure C. This measure, if passed, would dishonor the Herculean efforts of a dedicated group of volunteers who sacrificed much personally and professionally to create the precious and unique coastal protection. Measure C is the city's latest attempt at overturning this citizen initiative, not politicians or bureaucrats trying to monetize off of our public land. We are asking all citizens in San Diego to unite with a vote of no against Measure C. We want you to continue to visit our community. We want you to not be stopped by traffic when you are trying to get the most equitable form of any entertainment, free access to the beach. And if we do not have any plans for the infrastructure that's in place, if the city is successful with developing the Midway area, and it will impede coastal access. Where we build and how we build matters. We are fighting for equal and equitable access to our coastal region for all San Diegans. The beautiful coastal region that we enjoy today is here because of the protections that citizen-initiated ballot brought and created in 1972. This is public land, and it should be used for public benefit. And if our bureaucrats want to sell our public land, we should get fair market value. We should not be selling it out for a political donation. We have our city resources being sold to the highest bidder by our elected leadership, and that is wrong. So we are looking for your support. We need your help. We don't want beaches here that look like Miami Beach or Virginia Beach. I'm a military spouse. I know what Jeff's talking about. Go to Virginia Beach. You know how you access the beach? In between those high rises, they have an easement just for people to walk through. And the front of the beach has all access by the hotel. We're trying to preserve that. And we're not against. We support affordable housing. We know that the city has shown that it can build affordable housing and keep it under the 30-foot height limit. Yeah. There is a lie being spread by proponents of Measure C. We understand, everyone with human compassion, we know that affordable housing is required. We must grow, but again, where we build and how we build matter. And if you're going to impede access to the coastal region with no plans for the infrastructure, no plans for the already existing traffic issues, and no plans for the I-5, I-8 interchange, we must do better. And that's why we're asking you to vote no. We deserve better from our elected leadership, and I ask you, listen to our community. We are asking for your help. You have a choice this fall, and we're asking you, vote no on Measure C. Thank you.
I am a longtime citizen activist and a longtime member on a community planning group. So I understand, by the School of Hard Knocks, learned what the city says and what it means. The disconnect between the two when it talks about zoning, when it talks about equity, and most importantly, when it talks about affordable housing. The best example is from 2019. We were all been told, and it's been repeated again and again as it became state law this year, that parking is what is the main driver of the expenses for building housing. That it costs anywhere from $40 to $60 to plus thousands of dollars to the cost of building a unit. So that has been that's supposedly been the case for forever. What has always been the case then is that providing parking was always a chip that developers would use on a project by project basis to decide how to provide affordable housing to reduce then the parking requirements. That's the key thing to remember. It was, you had to have a trade-off for them. What happened in 2019 was the City Council unilaterally removed any parking requirements whatsoever from new residential projects. And it did so without any requirements to provide affordable housing as an offset for the savings in construction from not providing them. So that $40,000 to $60,000 per parking stall didn't go to residents, didn't go to new owners. It went directly into the pockets of developers. This is what's happening here now with this project. The removal of the Citizens Initiative for Midway is just the first step. We're being told that it's because it's needed to provide affordable housing. But the state density bonus law already allows project by project review to provide affordable housing in exchange for extra height and density. And we are also being told that it's necessary then that we remove the 30-foot ordinance in order to be able to provide affordable housing. But yet again, Measure C does not require any affordable housing for the offset and the stress and the increased demands on infrastructure, on access, on mobility. So once again, what is being sold is different from what we will get. And this is the problem that we've been having across the board, where it's simply assumed that somehow developers are the one group of people who do things from the goodness of their heart if you just give them more money. Well, I don't know if I've been a business owner, and I can tell you, you do a lot of things out of the goodness of your heart, but doing things at a loss isn't one of them. And so we need to understand that this is what is being done. And we're told that it's also required because we need to be able to build a stadium. Again, we already have exceptions that have been done for the Gateway of the Americas, for the Mission Brewery. So all of these could be done on a project-by-project basis, a blanket upzoning that'll only affect the 48 acres of the sports arena site, but actually cover the 1,324 acres of the entire Midway district, is wrong, and it's a bait and switch. Don't fall for it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Laura Dennison, and I have lived in San Diego, thank you, for 10 years. My husband Dan is from here. We've lived all over the country, from Boston to Miami, and on the West Coast from Punta Gorda all the way over to Texas. And I mean on the bay, in the Gulf, all the way over to Texas. And it was like a breath of fresh air to come here. It's so wonderful that this coastal height limit is here. It has really protected this area, San Diego, from becoming just an awful tourist area where you really, really have to fight to get to the beach. San Diegans love our beaches, so vote no on C, please.
Hello, my name's Melinda Resende, and I was born and raised here in San Diego. So growing up here in San Diego, my family and I would always entertain family from out of town. We were the only family here in San Diego, so from all over they would come here, and they would always enjoy San Diego for what it had to offer. The thing is they enjoyed the beaches the most. You could walk, swim, rollerblade, roller skate, skateboard, people watch, and all sorts for free, and all sorts of entertainment. Yeah, Belmont Park, La Jolla Cove, and all. This reaches not just Midway and Sports Arena, but it does reach Ocean Beach all the way to La Jolla. We have to protect the coastline for what it is. We are not like Waikiki Beach, Chicago, New York, and God forbid we ever get to that. This is why our visitors come to San Diego. It's because we are different from any other state and city in this country. And so for this, we need to keep our coastline pristine and free of high-rise buildings. The high-rise buildings can be as high as 27 stories if we allow this to happen. So we have to say no on C to protect our city coastlines and communities. It's also going to prevent people from coming here with traffic congestion, trash, litter. You know, we're already seeing problems on Midway and Sports Arena. It's not just about Sports Arena and Midway. It's about every other area underneath the 30-foot umbrella. We have the Midway corridor all the way towards Laurel Street. We have MCRD. We have Point Loma, all the beaches, Ocean Beach, and like I said, Mission Beach and Pacific Beach in La Jolla. The views in Ocean as we drove from beach community to community were always a treat and refreshing. You know, I fear that these are going to be very tall stories where we can't even walk to the beaches anymore and enjoy a stroll at sunset. Apartment buildings and new airport commuter station. I fear the worst traffic jams in history here. Not everyone is going to be able to ride bikes as they're trying to push us to, because not all of us are capable of it, so everyone's going to be still driving cars. There's no infrastructure and there's no water here to also cater to everybody. It's also not going to be affordable. If we could speak to someone in the higher up and actually lower the property taxes and insurance and water, then it would become affordable here. Also, a quote from Helen Fricker, if I may, a geophysicist at UCSD, which was on KPBS public media 4 weeks ago. She quoted, it's quoted, "So Sports Arena," she said, "honestly, they want to build all this housing on a floodplain, which in 10 or 20 years' time is going to be all underwater." She said, "I am really sorry, but the ice sheets are melting." Again, the infrastructure needs to be improved and traffic also needs to be thought of. You know, with Liberty Station, I was going to a lot of those meetings as well, and they always promised affordable housing there. Do we see that today? So don't be fooled at all. Please vote no on C. Thank you.
Hi there. My name's Kathy Blavitt, and I'm a historian, I'm an author, and I've been involved in a lot of issues, and the 30-foot height limit has been one of my issues for roughly 24 years. It keeps coming back, and the city keeps pushing through a lot of the same plans. In 2000 to 2008, they were talking, they had a sports arena committee, and they were going to put buildings 10 stories high, 4,000 units. They were going to take 96 acres of city land, and they were going to take out the Orchard Senior Housing and the Stonewood. And later they did take out the Stonewood. They also took out Barnes School. It was, the PAC had talked, that ran it, the North Bay Redevelopment PAC, said that it would be housing for teachers and ball fields. That's what the PAC wanted. Instead, it became resort housing when they promoted it in their postcards. So it's really ironic that they say they want low-income housing when they took it out of that area. But today, I'm here to talk about the 50-year anniversary, and it's their birthday today and this week. And these people were amazing. This is Alex Leondis in this picture here. He was the chair of the 30-foot height limit. These people were also collecting signatures for the Coastal Commission. This here is a drawing I did of Mignon Shear. She was an Obetian that fought the 30-foot height limit, and an amazing woman, and spent most of her life as an activist. She was involved with the Sierra Club and a lot of other issues, and she went down to council all the time on this. There's going to be an article about her soon. But I did this picture of her for one of her birthdays, and she loved it. But anyhow, today I want you to get involved and understand that this group was very important, and we need 50 more years of this. That's why we're beautiful. You know, that's why we all live here. And Ocean Beach, we have cottages, small cottages, and people love them. And we can get the density because we've got it here, because they did have smaller lots originally. But we're being worked over too. They keep increasing the building heights and playing these games that Jeff was talking about. But anyhow, today I've got some friends, and we all want to, let's give out a cheer for the people who put this through in the 50-year birthday of the 30-foot height limit. Yay! And in their spirit, we need to get everyone we know to vote no on C. This is too important to keeping San Diego, San Diego.
No on C.
No on C. No on C. No on C. No on C. No on C.
When they first proposed in 2020, the proposers put in two proposals, one for under 30 and one for over. This is one of the ones they did for under 30. They proved that they can put in the affordable housing under 30 feet. It's an important point I think everybody should be aware of. Now, this is only within the city property, only the 48 acres. The other 1,200 acres are up for grabs. Thank you.
This started out as a community, a citizens initiative. It wasn't something brought on by a politician who was looking to make money off of public assets. We deserve better from our elected leadership. We deserve better from Todd Gloria, and we deserve better from our city council member who is not in line with the community. She is in favor of this measure, and the community is asking for your help. Stop the land grabs, stop this lie that they're going to build affordable housing while they take public land and give it away to their political donors, to their campaigns. Amen. We deserve better. Thank you.
Keep the coast 30. 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 Keep the coast 30.